In the last section, we have done with the router LSA and good morning, Manjuna. In the network LSA, right? So router LSA is what basically? LSA is a link state advertisement, right? In this LSA, what happened? We have a link information and depend on the areas, right? Depend on the areas, the LSA will be categorized. Depend on the areas, the LSA will be categorized. If you have a single area, right? If you have a single area, in the single area you will have only two LSA. The LSA number one, that should be a router LSA, that is also known as a type 1 LSA, and this is also known as a LSA1. This LSA is only generated by app data, and that contains the information how many links are connected to me. That's it. This were the things that we have seen. Then after that we have a next LSA is known as a network LSA. There's a type 2 LSA, LSA number 2, and it generated by DR only. That contains the information how many routers are attached to me. How many routers are attached to me in my broadcast domain. So basically we have a two types of LSA in the own area, single area. If you have, it doesn't matter which area you're going to use. Either you have a area number 0, either you have a area number 1, either you have area number 2. Any area you will have only two LSA, right? It is something like that.
Now, how many routers means how many neighbors, right?
No, a router means what? How many routers you have present in your area. For example, if you have a, for example, this is the router number 1, router number 2, router number 3, router number 4, router number 5. In this area, area 0, how many router LSA will be there? 5 router LSA. Okay, and how many network LSA will be there? Can anyone tell me how many network LSA will be there? How many network LSA will be there?
4.
Perfect, thank you. So there will be 4 network LSA. So basically what happened, as I told you, this two LSA are this two LSA, right?
Now that's what I confused. It's how many routers is nothing but how many neighborship with the DR, right?
No, it doesn't matter how many routers you have.
Because how many routers? All routers should have a neighborship with DR compulsory, right?
Yeah, right.
So both are same, right? Then
How is both are same? Tell me.
see, 5 routers are connected with DR.
DR is the properties of the broadcast domain.
Okay.
DR is the properties of broadcast. See, try to read this line. It is generated by every router. That's it. So if you have a 50 routers in your network, 50 routers in your area, you will have 50 LSA. If you have a 10 routers in your network, you have a 10 LSA. If you
Now
have 20,
I'm talking about network LSA.
network LSA is something, it is generated by DR only.
Yeah, it is
And
generated by DR. So you said that contains the information how many routers are attached in my broadcast domain. So we
right,
can say the neighborships also, right? How many routers means how many neighborships, right?
exactly right. You can say that.
Oh, that's
So
what I'm asking.
you confusing me actually. That's why you can say that, right? You can say that. Yeah.
Sorry.
So this two LSA, these two LSA have properties of not there. These two LSA are never travel beyond the area. Never travel. It is something like that. This is my area number 0, right? And this is my area number 1. Okay. And in this area we have a router number 1, router number 2, router number 3, right? Right. So we have a link connectivity between this guy and between this guy, right? And we have another link connectivity between this guy. Now, perfect. So this guy is R1, this guy is R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, right? So this is my area. Try to, this is my area 0 and this is my area number 1. How many LSA will be there in this area 0? Network and router. How many LSA will be there in this area 0? Network and router.
So network, so router LSA 3, network LSA 2.
Right? Router LSA 3 and network LSA 2. So totally we have a 5 LSA. How many LSA? 3 router LSA and 2 network LSA. So whatever the information they have, they cannot share this information to the area number 1, and whatever the information they have, they cannot share this information to the area number 0. They cannot share the detailed information. One Indian information cannot share to the another area. It's not possible. So now the question is how we can provide the communication. How we can provide the communication. So guys, what happened? This is the beauty of the OSPF actually. This is the beauty of the OSPF. What OSPF is going to do over there, instead of sending the detailed information, right? Instead of sending the detailed information, what this guy is going to do, it is just going to send the summary information. It is just going to send the summary information, or we can say the short information. It is going to send the short information. Area 0 is not going to share the detailed information to the area number 1. He's going to share the summary information. Area number 1 is going to share the summary information to the area number 0. They are not going to share the detailed information. Detailed information is only present, right? Detailed information is only present within the area. Detailed information is only present within the area. But between the area, only short information is there. Summary information. Now, why we are doing this thing? Guys, try to understand. If you are not going to do this thing, otherwise, if you're not going to do this thing, what happened? It behave like a AIGRP then. Something like that, right? If you're not going to say the, so what happened? It is going to say the all information to this guy, all information to this guy. Every router has a grid load, right? Every router is going to increase the CPU utilization. Every router is going to increase the process memory, everything, right? That's why what happened between the area, he is not going to share the complete information. He's just going to send the short information, and that short information is known as a summary information. That short information is known as a summary information, and this summary information is known as a summary LSA. LSA 3, type 3. This type 3 LSA, right? This type 3 LSA, it is only generated by AVR router only. It is only generated by AVR router. And what this guy is going to do, this guy, it just send the summary information about on area. Now the question is, what is ABR? ABR stands for area border router. ABR stands for area border router. What's the meaning of border? Border means what? A
Kind of
connectivity.
transit area.
No, a connectivity between two areas. That's the meaning of border. Border means what? For example, this is the India and this is the Bhutan, right? So this Calcutta, right? This Calcutta will become the border of this country. The Calcutta will become the border of this country, right? This Calcutta location is the border of become the this two country. That's the meaning of border. Border means what? A connectivity that provide the connectivity between the two different country, two different cities, right? Same thing. A connectivity between the two areas. But it makes sure that it must be it must connect with the backbone area router. That's a criteria to become a ABR router. It must connect with the backbone area router. This is the one of the major important things that you have to focus. Something like that. R1, R2, R3. In this case, what happened? We have a 1.0.0/8 subnet, okay, and 3.0.0/8 subnet, okay, and this guys belong from the area number 0, and this guys belong from the area number 1. Now what happened? Try to understand. In this case, what happened? R2, right? R2 is a router, right? R2, this interface has belonged from the area number 0, and this interface has belonged from the area number 1, right? So R2 has two interfaces, right? One interface belongs to the area number 0, one interface belongs to the area number 1. This guy will become the AVR router. But what happened? And now in this case also what happened? We have a good communication. We have a good communication between this guy and this guy. We have a good communication between this guy and this guy. But what happened? If you have a look like this topology, R1, R2, R3, and we have a area number 1, and we have a area number 2, and we have a 1.0.0.0/8, and we have a 3.0.0.0/8 over there, right? In this case, what happened? No communication. No communication will happen between the area, because in this case what happened? There's no area. If you remember that last time, right, I gave this task to you guys,
Yeah, the communication not happened.
right? Communication will not happen, because in this case what happened? Do we have any AVR out over there? Of course no AVR out will happen, right? I don't have any AVR out over there, and if you don't have any AVR out, what happened? No summary LSA. And if you don't have summary LSA, between the area no communication will happen. Between the area no communication will happen. Let me show you this thing, then I'll come back to the next point. What I can do right now, LSA3 type 3. Right, and I'm going to take 6 route over there. So where is R1, R1, R2, R3? So right now I'm just going to teach you how the ABR look like this and how the ABR will become, right? ABR communication. Then I'll come to the somebody LSA part. So now, so good, right? So let me provide the connectivity link. Awesome, right? Okay, where's the link between this guy? Uh, what happened?
Just port is already used.
Perfect. And now this guy. So in this section, right, this is my area 12.1. This is my 12.2. This is my 23.2, and this is my 23.3, and this my copy, right? And copy this guy, same thing. Perfect. Now, what I can do right now, right? And we have area 0 in this case. In area 1, we have 101. We have a, right? And same thing. Now we have a area number 1, and we have a area number 2. We don't have a area 0 over there. Same guy, 101. Right? Put this guy, and now let me start. Let me take a control of this guy. Yes, 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Just come back. Okay, so we have R1, R2, R3, right? So where is R1, R3, right? So let me start my configuration. Okay, so from R1, enable config channel interface 0/0 12.1/24. So right now I'm not explaining you what is my summary LSA. I'm just going to explain you what is ABR right now. Those are our interface loopback number 1, and what is the role of ABR. If you don't have ABR, what happened to the word? /24, no shutdown, no shutdown. Interface loopback number 201 IP address will be interface 0/1. R3. R3 has interface 0/0. R4, same IP address will be there on R4. On R5, copy from R2. So IP interface brief. Awesome. And let's come back to the R3 now. Do so history. R6. All full, right? So right now, let's start my OSPF configuration. I'm just going to start from R1 router. On the R1, we need to put the command router OSPF number 1. Router ID will be 111. Network 12.0. Area 0. Network area 0. And do so history. Copy. On R4, same thing will happen on R4. Let's come back to the R2 now. On R2, we have our router OSPF number 1. Router ID will be 2.2.2.2. Network will be have a 12.0 and area 0. Network we have a 23.0 and it should be area number 1, right? And do so history. Copy and paste on the R4, R5. And now we have R3 router OSPF number 1. Router ID will be 3.3.3.3.3. Network will be 23.0 area 0. Sorry, area 1 and network 3.0.0.0 area number 1, right? Do so history. Perfect, right? R6. Same thing I configure on R6, R1 doodle R, R3 doodle R, R4 doodle R. Now try to understand in this case what happened. Let me do one thing. Try to analyze the things, right? It's very, very important. Right? This is the one area and this is the another area. But in this case, what happened? We have a area 0. This interface is belong from area 0. This interface is belong from area 1. So there is a router that's a R2 router. This R2 router is going to provide the connectivity between the two areas, right? The R2 router is going to provide the connectivity between the two areas. But in case also what happened, one interface is present, right? This interface is present in the backbone area. So in this case, what happened? R2 will become the ABR router. And if R2 will become the ABR router, we have a communication between this guy and this guy. Have a look. Let's go to R2 and I'll just put that my do show IP protocol. What happened? Is it? It's an area per router. R2 is my AVR because one interface is belong from area number 0 and one interface is belong from area number 1. It's an AVR router. And now if you see the communication between R1, this guy loopback number loopback to 3, I say that ping source 101 is possible, right? Because here the R2 is the AVR router, but same case if you have a look over there in this scenario, right? One interface is belong from area number 1. Okay, I made a mistake, I think, right? On a R5 router.
Yeah, I supposed to tell you because you copied that area 0 also here.
Area number 2, it should be over there. And on R6, fine. R4 router, we need to change this guy. Now, perfect. This is my area number 2, right? So in this case, what happened? One interface that's belong from area number 2 and one interface that's belong from area number 1. Do we have any backbone area over there? I don't have any backbone area, right? I don't have any backbone area, and backbone area is going to provide the inter-area communication. And if you don't have backbone area, you don't have AVR. And if you don't have AVR, you don't have summary LSA. And if you don't have a summary LSA, no inter-area communication. Within the area, you can communicate, but within the area you can communicate, but between the area you cannot communicate. No area communication, no inter-area communication. Only intra-area. That's the role of backbone. And if you see right now, if you have a look on a R5 router, will R5 will become the AVR over there? Do show IP protocol. I don't have any AVR information. I don't have any AVR information. And if you don't have any AVR information, will I able to communicate from R4? If you see on R4, can I ping this guy? 3.3.3.3 source 111. I can't provide the communication between this person. No possible, not possible. Because R5 is not an AVR router. And if R5 is not AVR router, inter-area communication is not happening. R5 is a normal router. One interface is belong from area number 2 and one interface is belong from area number 1. There is no area 0, nothing. Only 2 area is there. That's a normal area. So this is the one troubleshoot that you have to remember. If you don't see the summary LSA information, you don't have the ABR. Make sure that you must have a ABR order. Now let's come back to the point. What I can do right now, I'm just going to open my task, so open the project that have a TR and BTR. Now in this case, right, this is my R1, R2, R3, right? R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and here R6, right? Here R6 will become the ABR because this interface, right, is belong from area number 0, and this interface 0/1 is belong from area number 1, right? This interface 0/0 is belong from area number 0. This interface is belong from area number 1. So R6 will become the ABR router, right? R6 will become ABR router. So tell me one thing. As I told you that summary LSA is what? Summary LSA is nothing but it's just a short information about that area, right? And it's generated by whom? It's generated by only ABR router. And that just contains the summary information. Is it? So in this area, tell me how many router LSA and network LSA will be there in this area?
Six router LSA, five network LSA.
खतरनाक भाई क्या बोलूं तुझे मैं खतरनाक we have a 6 router LSA and 1 network LSA. Ramesh, clear? Ramesh, 6 router LSA, 1 network LSA, same broadcast domain.
Okay.
Now, so basically, how many LSA total we have? We have a 7 LSA. What I told you that LSA 3. Summary, right? So do you know what happened when R6 is my ABR router? When R6 is going to flood this information to the area number 1. When R6 is going to flood this information into the area number, which information? He's not going to send 7 LSA. He's not going to send the 7 LSA. What this guy is going to do? This guy is just going to send the single LSA. And that single LSA is just going to contains the information about network ID, something like those, something like that, 192.168.1.0/24. All this network. What is the network ID? What is the network of this guy? What is the network? This network of this guy is. So instead of sending the 7 LSA, can you imagine? Instead of sending the 7 LSA information, I'm just sending the short information, summary information, 1 LSA. I'm not going to send the complete information. I'm just going to send the 1 LSA information. And that LSA information is going to contain the network ID. That's it. And it is generated by the ABR router. Right? What about this guy now? How many LSA will be there in this area? Number one, tell me. How many router and network LSA will be there? 3 and 2, right? Total 5. What I told you that summary LSN, right? LSA3 contains the information on network ID, right? Do you know R6 router will share the only 2 LSA information in the area number 0. One is 192.168.67.0 information, and another is 192.168.78.0 information. That's it. This 2 LSA will be sent into the area number 0. Instead of sending the 5 LSA, how many LSA we are sending? Just 2. So this is the bit. What's the meaning of summary? Summary means what? Summarize the information. So I'm summarizing. Can you see? I'm summarizing. From 5 to it's sent to 2. So instead of maintaining the 5 LSA, now this guy is going to maintain the only 2 LSA information. Right? If you see right now what I can do, let me open this guy. Make sure that you must have a ABR. If you don't have a ABR, summary LSA will be not there. Right? So we all have our routers over there. Show IP interface brief. Perfect. So IP interface brief. Let me configure the interface loopback number 1 so that it will become the router ID. R7. Okay, R7 we don't have any IP addressing, so on R7 we need to configure 0/0. Then we have R8. All done, right? So now let's configure the OSPF. What I can do right now on a simply, I just go on the point interface, basic interface 0/0, IP OSPF 1 area 0, copy, and just go on R1 router, and let me do one thing. After a long time in this configuration, configuration. Done, right? R2 done, R3 done, R4 done, R5 done, R6 done, right? Then R6 we have interface 0/1, IP host of 1 area 1 done. R7 interface range 0/0, then IP host of 1 area 1, and then we have R8 interface 0/0, IP host of 1 area 1. Done. So now if you just come back to the R5 router, just wait for some time. In the area number 0, right? All good. Do so IP OSPF neighbor, right? Who is the DR? R6 is my DR router, and R5 that I'm present right now, it's my BDR. And all the rest of the router will become the DRO. And if you see do so IP OSPF database, we have a 6 router LSA and 1 network LSA, right? That's generated by the 1.6. Okay, DR IP address, and this is the router ID of the DR, right? But what happened, you know, when R6, so right, basically we have a total 7 LSA in this guy, and here R6 will become the ABR router. If you see on R6 router, just go on R6 and put the command do show IP protocol. R6 is my ABR. So what R6 is going to do over there? Why it's a ABR? Because one interface is belong from the area number 0 and another interface is belong from the area number 1, right? A backbone area, right? R6 will become the ABR. And if R6 will become the ABR, instead of sending the 7 LSA information, R6 is just going to send the single LSA information. That should be a network ID 192.160.1.0. That's it. Have a look on R7 order. Do so IP OSPF database. Can you see what's happening over there? Summary LSA. For which area? Area number 1. Link ID is and who is generating this LSA? Who is the R is 6.6.6? The 6.6.6.6.6 is ABR order. Right? It's a ABR order. Even if you check on the R8 router, same information. And I can send the traffic to you. Let me know. I can send the traffic to every person, right? I can send that I 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can send the traffic from, I'm sending the traffic from R8 to the any person that's belongs to the area number 0.
Now that link, can you explain about that link ID?
Link ID is nothing, it's just a network ID in the summary LSA. 1.0 subnet.
Okay.
But what happened? What about the now area number 0 from this guy? How many LSA will be shared? How many LSA this guy will be shared to the area number 0? R6 my AVR order. If you go to R1, you will have a 2 LSA information, do so IP OSPF database, 2 summary LSA. One is 67.0 this network, and one is 78.0 this network. And who is that by this router? Who is the 6.6.6? 6.6.6.6.6 is my border router. And I can send the traffic from here as well as if you see, if I send the traffic to Beijing, show IP root OSPF OIA. Intra area routes, inter area routes. Intra area routes, inter area routes. A route is coming from the different area. Right now, if you see right now, this is the route that I'm coming from the different area, right? Area number 1, OI. If you go back to the R8 router, what happened? We have a O route because this guys belong to the same area, right? 60, I'm present on the R8 router. R8 signal 67.0 route is the O route. O means what? It's a OSPF route, intra area route. But OIA, the route is coming from different area. This area route, area 0, is coming to me. It will become the inter area route. If the route is coming from the different area, the route is known as the inter area route. Now let's do one thing. Let me show you one thing. If I'm going to put the command do show IP OSPF database, sorry, do show IP OSPF database, somebody else, detail information. Same information. Then what is this? Do show IP root OSPF. Let me make it more simple. What is this metric and what is this metric?
So cumulative metric.
Sorry. See, this metric is just going to tell you. This metric is just going to tell you how ABR far from me, right? It is something like that. See what happened. This is the metric, right? This 30 metric. This 30 metric is reaches to the this point. Okay. So when the packet is coming to this guy, the metric is just 10 over there, right? The packet is coming when the route is coming to this guy R6 router, the metric is just 10. But when the route is coming, this route 190 or 160 route, this 100 route is coming to this guy /24 R8, it is going to add the 10 from here and 10 from here. That's why if you see this point, what is saying that for this network the metric is 20, right? R8 is saying that for this network 67.0 The matrix is 20. How? 10, 10, 20. Right? 10, 10, 20. But when this route is coming to me, it will add the 30 over there because this area also has a 10 matrix, right? So now it will become the 30 on the R8 router, 10, 10 plus 10, 30. But this guy is saying that whatever this route, when this route is coming to the AVR router, the matrix has 10. He's talking about this route, summary network. When the summary network is coming to the AVR router, on that AVR, the matrix is 10. But when it's coming to me, the matrix will be 30. Is it? When the route, this route is present on the AVR router, when this route is present on the AVR router, on that time the matrix is 10, right? But when this route is coming to me, the routing table says the matrix 30. This information, this matrix information is talking about the summary LSA matrix. Summary LSA. This matrix is talking about the route matrix. Clear? Guys, question?
Summary LSA metric means till R6.
Yes, till R6. Exactly right. Till R6.
This is total up to R8.
Yeah, a 30 will be up to R8. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, guys, tell me what happened if I'm going to advertise the one loop. Right now, if you see on a R7 router, do so IP OSPF database, I have a single summary LSA. Tell me one thing, if I'm going to advertise on R1, interface loopback number 1, area 0, what happened on R7? I'm going to advertise on one more loopback. So basically now we have a two router ID, sorry, two network ID. Will any effect will happen on R7?
Sorry, Law, can you repeat the question?
I have advertised a one loopback on a R1 router, right?
Okay.
Will any effect will happen in the summary LSA? Try to understand one thing. This summary LSA is just going to contain the information of the link ID, and link ID is going to contain the information of network ID, right? So if you advertise this route, this is a separate network ID, right? This is the separate network ID. So what R7 is going to do, R7 is going to maintain the separate LSA for this guy. R7 is going to maintain the separate LSA for this guy. If you go on R2 again and advertise the R2 loopback, interface loopback number 1, IP OSPF 1 area 0, separate LSA for the 2.0 network. If you go on R3 and advertise the one loop back, separate LSA for this guys. What's the meaning of summary? Summary is what? A summarized information about your network ID. A summarized information about your network ID. Is it? And if you go on R1 right now, and if you see on R1, how many summary LSA will be there? From area 1, 2, right? Let's do one thing. Let me advertise the one loop back on R8. Now come back to the R1. It has a separate router and a summary LSA. So summary LSA is what? It's a LSA3 that is going to contain the network ID information, right? The link ID here is going to represent the network ID. So each network is going to represent that separate summary LSA.
Now, still I have confusion between link ID and network ID.
1 minute. R1 router, right? Ramesh,
Yes, la.
R1 router is there, right? R1 router is going to share the one information that is a 1.0.0.0.0. This is your link information, right? Maybe let me make it more simple. I'll just make it the 2.0.0, right? This is the link information. Link information is a LSA information, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is your become the link ID. Is it clear now? Okay. Next point. Who is advertising this LSA?
R1.
What is the router ID of R1?
1.1.1.
Right? So this 1.1.1 will become the advertising router, or this 2.0.0 will become the link ID. It's clear now?
Okay.
Okay. This is how you can guys manage your summary LSA information, right? One thing that also want to show you, if you're going to open the flag right now, just go to the router number 2 and I capture this link and just go to R2. I'm going to create a one loopback over the interface loopback number 2 20.20.20.20.20/8 over there, and I'm going to say the IP host of one area 0. Perfect, right? It will generate the LSU packet. In this LSU packet, the flag is there, right? This flag is not on, right? It means that this router LSA is not this router LSA. This router is a normal router in this area. Normal router. This router is not belong from the either ABR, not the ASBR, and not even the virtual router. This is the normal router. This is a just a normal router for this LSA. Right now, let's do on the same thing. What I can do right now, this is my R6 is my ABR router, right? What I'm going to do, let me capture this link. And on a R6 router, what I can do, or have a one information do show IP interface brief, interface loopback number 1, interface loopback number 1, IP host of 1, area 0. And R6 is my ABR router, right? Do show IP host of R6 is my ABR router. R6, right? AVR order. And if you see R6 LSA update packet, LSA type, the flag is saying that now you can compare with this value to this guy. This was the normal router, and this is this information. Which information is generated by whom? AVR order. B flag. So whenever the router is going to advertise the information, right? Whenever the router is going to advertise the information in your area, it is also going to tell you, is it my AVR router, or it is my OSPF router, or is it my virtual link router, or is it my normal router? Whenever the OSPF is going to advertise the one information in your domain, he's also going to inform you, is this LSA is coming from the special router or normal router? Is this LSA is coming from a special router or normal router? If the route is coming, or if the LSA, if the route is coming from the special router, then it will mark the flag over there. If the route is not coming from the special router, just mark that as a normal router. Right? So in the ASPR scene, I'll show you this flag, and the virtual link I'll show you this flag. Right now, this flag is important. So during meanwhile in the class, I'm teaching you all the flags over there, right? What are the flags we have? What are the options field we have, right? All this option field we are going to discuss. Perfect. Now, another thing. Correct? Now, another thing. We have two types of route in the OSPF. Between the two, one is the OI routes, and one is the OI route. What is the use of this route? What is the use of this route? Guys, this route is going to use for the path manipulation. Path manipulation in the sense of what? If a one router, right? For example, if the router number one, if the router number one is receiving a one route, that is a 1.0.0.0 slash 8 as a OIA route. At the same time, router also going to receive the one route that's belong to the same information. It should be O route, right? And this guy, interior. In this case, what happened? What router is going to do over there? This router is always give the preference O route. Always router is giving the preference to the OI. In the routing table, you will have a O route. In the routing table, you will have a O route. In the database table, you will have both a route. In the database table, you will have both LSA, but in the routing table, you will have a 1.0.0/8 route, because routing key will always maintain best path information, always maintain. And that's why you will have a only 1.0.0/8 route. Let me show you this practical, what I can do right now. Let me pause this guy. And I don't know which project I have. Even I get confused on it. Okay. Oh, I don't know the info. Yeah. Oh, so this is my topology right now. You can see, right? And let me do one thing. Let me remove this guy, start this person, and all good. R2, R1, R3. Try to understand, this is the area number 1 we have, right? And we have a 1.0.0 in the area number 1, right? So this area is area number 1. So here R2 will become the ABR router, right? At the same time, what happened? This interface is belong from area number 0, and we have a one route, same 1.0.0 is belong from the area number 2, right? Is belong from area number 2. So what happened? This guy will say the R2, this route to the R2 as a OI route, and this guy is going to say as a O route. So R2 always give the preference to the this person, not to the this person. Always R2 will give the preference to this person, because this is the O route and this is the OI route, right? So what I can do right now, let me obtain this topology. So we have R1, R2. Let me configure the IP addressing. Okay, perfect. So IP protocol summary. Okay, so IP was newer. Newer is not there. Okay. So IP protocol summary. Let me configure the OSPF on this guy, and I'm going to do one thing: debug IP routing and debug IP OSPF. Perfect, right? Let's come back to the R3 now. Router OSPF number 1, router ID will be area 0, area 1, and network area 1, right? Perfect. R2 show run section OSPF. If you see on R2 already have a configuration. You can see that. Okay. And if just go to R1 router, on a R1 we need to configure router OSPF number 1. 12.0, area 0, network area 2. Done. Let's come back to the R2 now. If you see, I'm able to form the neighborship with the 3.3.3.3 and 1.1.1, right? 2 neighborship we have, right? But if you see the one thing show IP root, I'm only getting the this route. right? If you check the database table, so IP OSPF database. One minute. Oh, sorry. You will not have this information, right? Of course, right? Because this is the area number 0, and this information should be, it should be present, right? Because R1 should become the 1 minute. R1 to show IP protocol. It should become the ABR, right? It should become the ABR. It has to be sent the summary LSA to the R2. It has to be there. 1 minute. Yeah, it's there now. Yeah, it's there. Right, in the database table you will have a information. Can you see that this 101 I'm getting from the this 101 I'm getting for the 101, right? Is it? And this 101 I'm getting from the this guy R2. But in the routing table, what happened, if you see, just show IP root OSPF, I only have a this information. If I'm going to shut down this link interface 0/1, shut down this interface. So if I'm going to shut down this link, then what happened? Now this route comes in the picture. Can you see that? OI. But once I come back this interface, so no shutdown, it will be removed. It will be removed because this is the OI route, right? So do show IP root OSPF. Let's wait for some time. Perfect, right? Again, I'm going to shut down this interface. Again, it will remove and it will put the OI route. Again, it will put the OI route in the routing table. Again, so IP root OSPF. And if I'm going to shut down and no shut down this interface, if I'm going to remove, now what happened? R3 is also going to advance this route to the R2. So R2 always give the preference to the O route. R2 always give the preference to the O route, not to the OIA. Always. So maybe you have a question, law, maybe the cost issue will happen. No guys, cost doesn't matter in this case. Cost never comes in the picture. Let me do one thing. In front of you, what I can do right now on R3 router, interface loopback number 1, IP OSPF cost. I have advertised the cost, right? So previously what happened, the cost was 11, right? 1010. 1010 is advertising a route with the O 1.0.0.0.0 with the cost is 1010, right? This is the cost. With this guy, if you see from this guy, he's advertising a route with the 1.0.0.0.0.0 with the OIA. Cost, this guy cost is very low, right? If you see the cost of this guy, just 11, right? So cost never comes in the picture in this case, right? Cost never comes in the picture in this case. It always gives the preference to the O routes over the OIA. Cost never comes in the picture. Doesn't matter how many cost they have, right? So this is how the summary LSA is here, guys, and this is how you can deploy the O and OI routes. This is the most important practicals you have to do, guys, and this kind of practical, this is the kind of practical you will get in the exam, not the some like a just configure the OSPF and something like that. In a troubleshooting in exam, this is the question that you are getting over there. Any questions, anyone? Hey guys, anyone has a questions? Perfect. So guys, tomorrow we are going to start with the LSA 4 and LSA 4. So this comes in the, so we are going to discuss first about this guy and then we'll come to the stuff part. Okay. So hope you guys understand the LSA 1, LSA 2, LSA 3. This is the most important LSA because in the OSPF, you must need to know the information only about the LSA. That's it. Rest of the thing is very easy. Rest of the thing is very easy. Only you need to understand the LSA. Okay. So see you guys tomorrow. I'll put the video. You can watch it, right?
Thanks, La.
Hey, thanks, La.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.